Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're taking on probably the biggest demographic story on the planet, global urbanization.
It really is.
We've been digging into the New World Urbanization Prospects 2025 report, and our mission is to pull out the key insights that show how this massive global movement is shaping cities like London for the next couple of decades.
It's more than just a trend. It's the foundational backdrop for almost everything else.
Absolutely. So let's start with what I think is the most surprising fact in the whole report. For the first time in human history, living in a city is now the modal human experience.
That's the one. It's a profound shift.
And the speed of it is just, well, think about this. In 1950, only about 20% of the world lived in cities.
Right. The vast majority were rural.
Exactly. Now, fast forward to 2025, and you've got 45% of the population in cities and another 36% in what are now classified as towns.
Which leaves just 19% of the global population as rural.
Only 19%. That feels like a monumental change in just a couple of generations, doesn't it?
It is. And here's the crucial takeaway from that, especially if you're planning for the future. Nearly all global population growth between now and 2050 is going to be in cities and towns.
So that's where the action is.
That's where all the talent, the capital, the innovation, it's all concentrating there.
Speaking of capital, let's look at how the landscape of power is changing. The old story of urbanization was always the megacity explosion.
The 10 million plus cities, right?
We went from just 8 of them in 1975 to 33 in 2025.
But the really fascinating part of that is the geographic shift.
Ah, yes.
Where they are.
Exactly. 19 of those 33 megacities are now in Asia. We're talking about massive economic hubs like Jakarta, Dhaka, Guangzhou.
So for anyone listening who works in finance or, global policy, this shift eastward means what exactly?
It means that capital markets, talent sourcing, it's all becoming fundamentally less Eurocentric than it was even a decade ago. London is still a global heavyweight, of course, but the competition is heating up fast. So the megacity is kind of the old headline. But the report gives us a new story, one that's often overlooked: towns.
Yes, the new degree of urbanization framework. This is so important.
Why is that? What does it change?
It matters because it finally gives towns their own identity. It stops treating them as just, satellites of big cities. They are distinct, critical economic and social entities.
And globally, they hold, what was it, 36% of the population?
36%. That's nearly as many people as in large cities. They are the essential bridge layer between rural and metropolitan life.
That feels like a perfect mirror of what we see around London, right? The massive growth in commuter corridors out in Essex and Kent.
Precisely.
But let's pivot to land use, because this is where the sustainability challenge really comes in. The satellite data is showing that built-up urban land is expanding faster than the population.
Which is a huge red flag for inefficiency. It means we're sprawling and not densifying.
So per capita land use is going up?
It is. And that's not just an aesthetic problem. Sprawl makes everything more expensive. Water, power, roads. The cost per resident just skyrockets, and it creates these unsustainable public financing models.
Understood. But for a city like London, that outward push is heavily influenced by things like the Green Belt, right? Are these global trends proving that strict environmental constraints are just incompatible with modern urban growth?
That is the tough question, isn't it? London's constraint-driven growth, combined with its own supply shortages, it sort of mirrors a terrifying global reality.
Which is?
That over 1 billion people worldwide now live in informal settlements. Our local housing crisis is not unique. It's part of a global strategic megatrend where supply just cannot keep up with demand. Housing affordability is now a strategic national issue everywhere.
So let's tie this all together for you. This report paints a really clear picture. The world is fundamentally urban, economic gravity is shifting east.
And towns are a critical growth engine, and the housing crisis is truly a global one.
And for London, its long-term success really hinges on staying competitive against these rising urban powerhouses.
Absolutely. Investment in transport, regional integration, and aggressively tackling housing. Those are the defining challenges for the next 25 years.
I think the final thought here is that urbanization isn't just some demographic trend happening somewhere else. It is the foundational backdrop for every major property and policy decision that will be made between now and 2050. Something to mull over. Until next time.